दीवानी मैं जर्द सितारा करम खुदाया है तुझे मुझसे मिलाया है तुझ पे मर के ही तो मुझे जीना आया है ओ तेरे संग यारा खुश रंग बहारा तू रात दीवानी मैं जर्द सितारा और तेरे संग यारा खुश रंग बहारा मैं तेरा हो जाऊं जो तू कर दे इशारा कहीं किसी भी गली में जाऊं मैं तेरी खुशबू से टकराऊं मैं हर रात जो आता है मुझे वो ख्वाब तू तेरा मेरा मिलना दस्तूर है तेरे होने से मुझ में नूर है मैं हूँ सोना सा एक आसमां महताब तू ओ करम खुदाया है तुझे मैंने जो पाया है तुझ पे मर के ही तो मुझे जीना आया है ओ तेरे संग यारा खुश रंग बहारा तू रात दीवानी मैं जर्द सितारा ओ तेरे संग यारा खुश रंग बहारा तेरे बिन अब तो न जीना गवारा छोड़े हैं बाकी सारे रास्ते बस आया हूँ तेरे पास रे मेरी आंखों में तेरा नाम है पहचान ले सब कुछ मेरे लिए तेरे बात है 100 बातों की एक बात है मैं ना जाऊंगा कभी तुझे छोड़ के ये जान ले ओ करम खुदाया है तेरा प्यार जो पाया है तुझ पे मर के ही तो मुझे जीना आया है ओ तेरे संग यारा खुश रंग बहारा तू रात दीवानी मैं जर्द सितारा ओ तेरे संग यारा खुश रंग बहारा मैं बहता मुसाफिर तू ठहरा किनारा
Good evening. Hey, welcome to the Caribbean Voice presentation of the Mind-Body Connection every Monday right here on Island Zone Radio. On Island Zone Radio every Monday, 8 to 10 p.m., the Caribbean Voice presentation of the Mind-Body Connection. Well, good evening to each and every one of you. And before we say how you guys are doing, I must ask my co-host, how are you?
Well, Shanaz, very good evening to you and to all our listeners. My God, there is so much we got to talk about tonight.
Oh, yes, lots
You,
to talk about, and I hope you guys have some stories to share with us, the Caribbean Voice, as well. In our chat box, let's say good evening to Mr. Inderjeet Paul, the Lions. Hey, Rajiv, how you doing? Brenda Lee, good evening to you. Derek Maharaj, I see we'll be seeing each other July 13 because somebody say Raymond is heading this way. Mickey Khan, good evening to you. Geeta Baldeo, good evening. How you guys are doing? The beautiful Neela Pawaru, Liz Paduman, Nena Chunilal.
yes, and Bibi Ratmatullah, their name is going to change soon, and she
Uh-oh.
is in the audience with us tonight.
That's right. We have a
Um,
live studio audience. Hey, good evening to each and every one of you. The beautiful Varsity, our number one listener and supporter when it comes to the Caribbean Voice, and she said tonight she'll be selling T-shirts for the Caribbean Voice. So we'll be holding her to that. Also, Concert for Hope. What a good news we have to tell you. Concert for Hope was a success in the beautiful Kissimmee, Florida, and we are heading in New York, the Caribbean Cabana, July 20th. Hey, Geeta Baldeo, good evening to you. And yes, Mr. Kenneth, happy Monday to everyone. I hope you guys had a fantastic Monday. It was a very relaxing day for me at work.
oh, very good for you. Me too, but did a lot of reading today, so but came home rested.
Rested and ready to go. Linai, good evening to you. It was beautiful seeing you this weekend, and the beautiful girly Prasad and the cast we have in Kissimmee, Florida was outstanding. Mr. Joe Thomas, good evening to you. Azima Majid, how you doing? Thank you very much, Mr. Joe. Good evening to each and every one of you locked on to Island Zone Radio. Mr. Jerry Budram, good evening to you. And hey, Kenneth Darkchild, how you doing? Thank you guys very much for tuning into Island Zone Radio every Monday, the Caribbean Voice presentation of the Mind-Body Connection. And I hope to connect with your mind and your body this evening.
Love that.
And let's talk about your weekend. And I'll start with mine, and I'll ask Kenneth how was his weekend. And if you guys would like to tune in and let us know what you did, remember, live life to its fullest. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. Get out there and socialize. And I want to say my weekend was fun because I traveled with Sokaraja and Mr. Anthony Prasad, Mr. Bollywood, to Kissimmee, Florida. We had a great time at the beautiful Concert for Hope in Kissimmee, Florida. Did you see the pictures?
Yes, I see some of the videos, and
Some of the
everybody did
videos.
so
Who
nice.
released those videos?
You did some of them too.
Oh my goodness. And we do have some tunes by Anthony Prasad and Sokaraja and other cast that was there performing. I believe you saw the beautiful Angela Moti.
Absolutely, I was paying attention
That's
to her.
right. You know, it was so nice being a part of this cast and this show with all the artists, with the energy they brought, because they know they're doing it for the Caribbean Voice, and we are a good non-for-profit organization, so it made them happy to be a part of our organization.
And while you're saying that, Shanaz, when I hear stories like this, that these guys, all of them went there and performed and did so well. And I want to say, on behalf of the Caribbean Voice, I would like to say thank you to some of them. Mr. Bollywood, Anthony Prasad, Angela Moti, and her husband, and her little daughter too. She is getting so much support from her family. And I was so happy. And I was at work when I was listening to the tape, and her husband, when she said, "To my love, the love of my life," and those kind of things, it kind of
It
resonates in
shows
you.
you that all the support and,
and
the
that's a
love
good
and the
thing, yes.
encouragement.
Nati Ramatar, Sokaraja, Analia, Rif Prasad, our own Satish Udayaram. Thank you so much, my brother, for working so hard. Jailal, the voice of Sundar Popo, R2 Narayan, and the Island Mix Grill there in Kissimmee, Florida. I want to say thank you very much on behalf of the Caribbean Voice, the board of directors, the president, the vice president, and myself. Also, I would like to say thank you so much to my co-host, Shanaz Hussein, who took her time off, flew to Florida, and was the MC for that program. We are so grateful for you two because of your hard work, your dedication towards the Caribbean Voice. It really makes a difference, and thanks to all of you guys. And what's her
came
name?
out and support.
Girly Prasad
Girlies,
too.
yes, she came out to make a guest appearance. I know we always could count on Girlie for her support, and she came out to support us and give us her voice on stage as well. So, yes, everyone at the end of the program, some programs, folks leave. I think we opened the door and no one left the building till the show was done.
And that's so nice. It really do. These guys, they can stay home or they could go sing and make money, and the girls too. And I know how hard Angela Modi worked because her husband, we talked, and she put in so much work, and you guys have done it. Just speak volumes of their.
Everyone did their best, and everyone came out happy.
There is still so much good people in the world, Shanaz.
Yeah, that's right. And I always say, if you have talent, use it wisely. Always be a volunteer. And everyone that I know in the music industry are hitting me up to be on, either program they see me on, or when it's a charity program, they're always hitting me up to be on a program. And now I have Soka Raja for life. He's a Caribbean Voice member, and he's ready to perform anytime we need him. Concert for Hope.
That's excellent.
So
You
we
got-
have all the youngsters from Guyana volunteering to be a part of our cast.
You have the pull, Shanaz, and this weekend on Saturday I went to the boat ride here
I
in
didn't
New
get to
York.
ask him how was his weekend. I'm sorry. How was your
That's
weekend?
fine. That's fine. I had a fantastic weekend too. I wasn't accustomed. This is my first boat ride. Actually, I went to, and Geeta really did back out. She didn't want to go.
I think she's afraid because she thought she wouldn't have a life jacket.
I know because
Or maybe she was afraid that D-Raj will be whining so much he'll be rocking that boat.
you know what? I have to say that DJ Fest did a wonderful job in choosing two of the top-notch artists to perform on the boat. Diraj, I know you. I can't understand. You told me a couple of years ago or a year ago you want to
Resign?
retire. You cannot retire. You could still move the body. And to be very honest with you, the first time I feel about rock is when he was dancing. And all these ladies want to dance with him, and they're putting money on in his clothes and all these things. So you still, on a serious note, you still can shake that body, and you still can attract so much people, so much crowd. I also want to talk briefly about your friend, what's her name? Fiona Singh.
Our own chutney queen from Guyana.
I thought she was from Trinidad. I think I saw her perform one time. But what I admire about her, she's a young girl and she is full of talent. I can't wait to see what the world will give her. What I like about her that she can sing. She got good stage presence.
She's a wonderful person inside
yeah.
out. Genuine personality.
I was right next to her and I told her, I said, but I'm not too embarrassed, but I'm like, I am Shanaz, co-host, and I need a picture. And she said yes, so that was a good thing. So anywhere I go, who don't know me, well, I'm new to the scene, so I'm always using Shanaz as my backup. I am Shanaz, co-host. So it was a beautiful boat ride, and thanks every one of you for going to that boat ride, and it was really a success.
Supporting Island Zone boat ride. It's the 4th boat ride, and it's the very first one I've missed only because we had our concert happening. And DJ Fez, big up to you too. Thumbs up. You're always supporting everyone. Good evening to each and every one of you. Mr. John Nimmat, Angela, good evening to you. Geeta Baldev, good evening to you. The beautiful Geeta Rampersad, Lena, good evening. Thank you guys for tuning into Island Zone Radio, the Caribbean Voice presentation of the Mind-Body Connection. Dolly Shahid, good evening to you. We would love to connect with your mind this evening. Hey, Alisa Nankishore, how you doing?
Diane,
Thank you for tuning in to the Island Zone Radio, the Caribbean Voice. Shali Chunilal, good evening to you. If we miss your names, do keep commenting so we'll read it over. Hey, Kamini, how you doing? And Mr. George Nandan, good evening to you. Yashoda Takardeen, good evening to you. The beautiful Liz Paduman in Guyana. We are so excited. We are heading your way. Concert for Hope is coming August 3rd in the beautiful Classic Hotel grounds. So, guys, come and support us in Guyana. If you want t-shirts, you want books, hit us up and we'll bring them to you in Guyana. Tonight's topic. What is tonight's topic? Let's see.
Empathic communication, and that's a big thing. As you know, communication is so important in life. I see my sister Naomi Ramdas. She's on. Thank you for tuning in. I see our friend Arjun Madre.
Arjuna Madre, good evening to you. And I said, don't worry, sir. I have your 10 tickets reserved for Concert for Hope and also 2 t-shirts that you RSVP. So thank you very much for your support always when it comes to the Caribbean Voice.
And he's such a wonderful guy. I'm so glad that he's in our corner.
That's right. You do the right thing and you always have loyal supporters, loyal followers, and loyal friends. Guys, we hit you very early in our program to share the link before we start our topic so everyone can get a chance to join in before we start our, conversation. And I would love to hear what you guys did this weekend. We always encourage you to make hay while the sun shines. Do not procrastinate. And I posted a picture of my shirt last week. I had a lot of procrastination done.
Really?
So, good evening to each and every one of you. Thank you very much for tuning in. And yes, share the link so everyone could join us before we start our main conversation, which is
Empathic communication.
NYC. Get ready. Concert for Hope is July 20th at the beautiful Caribbean Cabana restaurant. We will start partying from the beautiful sunrise, not sunrise, well, we'll have the sunlight and we'll go towards the moonlight. So it should be a very nice program.
I want to say special hello to Delari Fernand. She's one of our supporter in the background. She's always sharing our program, and I hope that you're doing well, and thank you very much for always looking out for us here at the Caribbean Voice.
That's right. And yes, Lena, she said we have another program August 24th. That's right. I'll let you know, and we'll share the poster later. August 24th coming your way. I believe we got your back organization. Chutney Wine is heading that way. Thank you guys for sharing. Sharing is always caring. Danny Ram and Christina, good evening to you. Thank you guys for coming back to Island Zone Radio. And we would love to hear how was your weekend, because we always encourage you to go out, meet someone, socialize. It's good for the mind and body.
And one of the good thing about this the boat is that it has 3 levels, from what Fess was telling me today. And if you want to just go upstairs and sit down and relax,
enjoy the view.
You could have done that too. So but I wasn't where the action
I am
is.
sure. Don't tell me where you were. I am sure he was on the deck that has the dancing and the music.
That's right. You are
and
right.
The beautiful Fiona sing.
That's right. That's right.
So I know him very well. I know there was 3 decks, but I was looking at the very first one where the party is to see where is Ken on this boat.
I want to be where the action is.
That's right. And it's nothing wrong with that. You take a day off. Sometimes you go out to have fun. John Nima, thank you very much. Shalini Ramutar, how are you doing? Gita Balio, thank you. Jalari, good evening, good evening. And let's see who we have there. Azima Majid, good evening to you. Thank you for sharing our link. And Jerry Budram, good evening. Thank you very much. And I know he's requesting Kali Salam. We have some songs coming up by the artists who performed over the last weekend for us. So that would be Anthony Prasad. We do have some performance by him. The beautiful Angela Moti. And hey, Mr. Jalal, the voice of Sundar Popo. You guys didn't see him, but you can get to hear his voice. They're always fantastic. Mario, good evening to you. Mario.
Yes. My cousin husband from Puerto Rico, but he's in New York actually visiting.
I heard Lena danced so much she almost lost her shoe, not forgetting her telephone because she was going live so everyone could see what's happening in the beautiful Island Mix. What a beautiful venue. And I must say thank you to the owners. They were so very nice to all of us, very hospitable. And thank you guys very much. We continue our program with tonight's topic. Thank you for sharing.
So, are we going to go for a song or are we going to go ahead?
Well, let's start our program with a song. You guys deserve a song as you hit share so everyone could tune in after we return. Enjoy. DJ, let's go.
Rastafari never leave I alone. So even when the road get rocky, me say me never give up. I said there ain't no giving in. And when the going get tough, I said the tough get going. My people don't give up. I said there ain't no giving in. No, Rastafari guide I and I from the beginning. A lot of youths in life say them can't take the pressure no more. But from your trust in the most high life, I go get better, I'm sure. The youth juggle on the roadside, Babylon say fi take up your bag and go. Boy, but we still not give up. Me say we solid as a rock like Kalanje. Not give up. I said there ain't no giving in. And when the going get tough, I said the tough gets going. One juggle your fruits, don't give up. I said there ain't no giving in, mama. Rastafari guide I and I from the beginning. Why oh teacher not get paid, the government need for purge and process. Oh yeah. Police not get paid, so them find it hard to serve and protect. And all we get from the government is highlight bits and robust taxes. And them still a pressure the youth to run it hard on the road with them robot taxes. But there ain't no giving Go run your taxi, you. Hey, I said the tough gets going. Ba 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 yeah. Nah, give up. I said there ain't no giving in. No. Rastafari guide I and I. Whoa whoa. I said my people, we've been facing struggles for so long. Ja people, please me I beg you. Please, could you hold on? I know the system have you down and you feel pressed down like 50 feet. I thought the back of you, the victory sweet. Me say me still not give up, me just kiss me teeth, not give up. I said there ain't no giving in. Hey, how when the going gets tough, I said the tough gets going. Jordan, believe me, not give up. I said there ain't no giving in. Why you right? Till I see I still a guide I and I. Ooh,
I said we not give up, and you should never give up too. Hey, beautiful message, and it's a beautiful song selected by our young DJ tonight who wants to make a difference into your life. Hey, John Nimmer, thank you very much. Joshua Abat, how you doing? Thank you very much to the beautiful Gita Baldeo, Liz Panuman. That's right. There isn't no giving up. Don't ever give up. Tomorrow, the sun will come out bright again. Always have faith.
You know, Gita Baldeo, I just told Shanaz, you said that she looked beautiful. I said she looked like Reka in this video here that you guys are seeing. I see my lovely aunt, Dolores Sigobin, is on.
It was very nice seeing you last week, Dolores Sigobin. She's
Yes.
indeed a very beautiful person, beautiful aunt. And we had her live in our studio. And if you'd like to be live in our studio, do reach out to Mr. Kenneth, myself, or Mr. Anand Budram. We would love to have you as a guest in our studio.
And I would like to tell Mr. Mario, congratulations on the wedding of your daughter. She's such a beautiful girl. I'm so glad that you guys were there to able to witness this ceremony. So let's go. Today, we're going to talk about empathic communication. But before I go there, I would like to talk about communication, start with communication on the whole, because, Shana, as you and I know that a lot of times people misconstrued a lot of things that you says, and, you know, we don't get this thing correct or get it right. So we're going to talk about communication. First, effective communication. And we said an effective communication is a communication between two or more persons where the intended message is successfully delivered, received, and understood. It's like I'm sending a message to you. You got the message. You understand the message, and then you get back to me, and then you said, you know what, you understand everything that's saying in that. The other thing is that I want to talk about is the type of communication. We have verbal communication, we got nonverbal communication, we have written communication, visual communication. And the verbal communication is the use of language to transfer information through we are speaking and sign language. It is one of the most common type, often used during presentation. And you'll be surprised, Shanaz, that when I'm going to come with what the statistics says and the percentage actually with communication. Nonverbal communication is the use of body language, the gesture and the facial expression to convey information to others. And we know that a lot of times that we are talking to people, but we are not watching their face.
Their action, and their facial
exactly.
expression. Sometimes you might say, go ahead, and thinking it means a good thing, but the way you make your face is like saying, you're being sarcastic.
That's right, and we will get to that. Written communication is the act of writing, typing, or printing symbols like letters and numbers to convey information. The other one is visual communication, is the act of using photographs, art, drawings, sketches, charts, and graphics to convey our information. So let's talk now about communication. The art of communication is the process by which people exchange information and share ideas. And have you heard before? And one of the things that you know that every time I'm talking actually to you and I'm trying to address you, I always look at you when I'm talking. I'm not looking at the camera, despite I should be watching at the camera. But I've learned that when I'm talking to someone, to make eye contact and to watch them and to look at them and to talk. And listen to this. The action, as I said, action speaks louder than words. So let's talk. 55% is nonverbal, that in terms of your body language, what you're saying. And a lot of times people just talk, they're not paying attention, like I said, what your body is saying. 38% is the tone, the way
tone
you're
of voice.
speaking, yes. And one of the things that I always like to listen to is the way that people talk to you, the tone that they use when they're talking. The other thing is that, would you believe that, I did this way back in nursing school in Ghana in 1985. And when I was doing this, I could not believe that I'm refreshing my memory. And only 7% communication is what we are saying. Can you believe that? And sometimes when we are talking, sometimes we don't pay attention to people. We are talking to them. We turn our face away from them. And it doesn't make sense. We need to look at people when we are talking, and when people are talking to us, we need to pay attention. And you see, we will talk about that. The goal is to have a nonverbal message match your verbal message. And what you're saying is that what's coming out of your mouth, your body should be saying it. If you're happy, and if the two of us are interacting, and you're happy and I'm happy, I should be seeing some smile in your face and some smile in my face. Not that I'm talking something happy, but then I look so serious and I look like I want to cry. It doesn't match. So that's why it's important when people talking to you, especially when they're sad, you need to pay attention. If they're going through a hard time, you need to give that person, and we will talk more about this as we go, know what we are saying, and we need to really pay full attention. Tips for body language is to mirror the other person's body language to convey understanding, respect personal space. Most people need a bubble area, which is equal to about 3 feet. Me and you, we are sitting close because we want to get into the camera. But when you're interacting with someone, it's like your space. They shouldn't invade your space. Should be like an arm's length away from you. Or right up to you. I don't like that.
I need my space, so an arm's length is good enough for conversation.
Yes, the goal is to be close enough to be attentive and far enough for comfort, because you don't want, no matter what's going on, you don't want nobody really to be right up in your face. I really don't like that too much. It all depends who you're talking to.
Give me my space. You need your space also.
Especially in a professional setting, when I'm with my patients, I want to have that space. And especially when I'm dealing with some difficult clients, I want to have my space. I don't want nobody to rush up into my face and be talking. I'm sure you, with your patients, is the same thing with you. So what is empathic communication, right? It's when listening, right? You listen to the person's ear, but actually listen with your eyes and your heart. And perceive feelings, meaning listen to behavior language. And as we said, when we're communicating, there's so much going on with our body. We could close our fists, we could grind our teeth, all these kind of things. You will also use the right and left brain hemisphere. Empathic listening is an enormous deposit into the affected account, has a therapeutic and healing effect. Thus, empathic communication, it is the simplest definition, meaning showing the other person that he or she is listened to and that their inner universe, through thoughts, emotion, attitudes, their values, is being understood. And what is simply saying is that when someone is talking to you, you're paying attention to them. You're not doing you on your cell phone. You're not doing all these things. You're paying attention. Thus, empathic communication is the simplest definition, means showing the person that you are really listening to them in the universe.
You have their attention.
Right.
You're giving them your ear at that time.
Exactly. So entering the world of other people and seeing what they see is not something that's easy, but it helps to avoid making the wrong assumption and misjudgment about the person we are talking to. And there's so many times, we are so close to people and they're talking to us and we are just listening to 1-2 words what they're saying. But with this empathic communication, we want to listen to what they're saying. We want to be there and listen to everything. Sometimes I tell people, listen, I can multitask. I can listen to you and I can type or I can do other things. But with this, we want people to you must be able to listen to someone without doing other things. And from a psychological point of view, empathic involves 2 things: perception and communication. And there are so many times that I say something, but you can perceive it very differently from what I really meant. And I'm sure that you know that sometimes you say things and you surprised that someone take it in such an opposite way. And that's why it is important that we really pay attention to what people are saying. Communicating without proper correct perception of the meaning of the message leads to decrease in the empathic character of the relationship or conversation. We naturally inclined to want the opposite. We want to understood first. Many do not even listen when they intend to understand. They listen when they intend to reply. They either speak or they are ready to totally speak. So the thing is that sometimes, have you ever had a conversation with someone and you're talking and they keep cutting you off all the time? You can see that they're so dying to talk back. They want to get out their point. And what we're saying that, you know what, let the person
it's more
speak.
important to listen than to speak, because you have to listen to what they have to say before you can come up with, giving them an advice.
Exactly. So you want to really hear the whole story of what the person is trying to say. Our conversation becomes collective monologue. We never really understand what is happening inside of another human being. And especially, like we said, you're talking to your patient or someone who has lost someone. You want to, and I'm going to reinforce this a lot because I've seen it happen so many times, and sometimes I'm guilty for the fact too. So I will have to pay more attention of how, when I'm in a conversation, what I do. Do I sit and listen until the person finishes talking, or do I, from the time the person start the conversation, I already know where they're heading with this conversation?
I was talking to one of my patients at work, and he was complaining to me that he went to a doctor, not somebody that I recommend. So he was telling me I was at the doctor's office and he was on the cell phone checking my blood pressure, checking my pulse, writing down things on a paper. So he really couldn't get to communicate with this doctor because the whole examination he was on his cell phone. And he asked me, do you think that's right? And he said, I'll call you later. I'm like, no, I don't think so. Before you leave a doctor's office, you should sit down and have a one-to-one, because you want to see the person while you're speaking to them, especially with a first visit. So you need that one-on-one time, and you need to see the person body language and how they feel, how comfortable you are with them treating you as a doctor.
That's correct. And you want undivided attention. You don't want nobody to make any mistake.
No matter how much they can multitask, you do need one-to-one attention sometimes.
Exactly. So you said it right. That is so profound. Stephen Convey, he said, no wonder why the cause of 90% of conflict has to do with faulty communication. That is because when someone talks, we usually choose to level of listening out there. We pretend to listen sometimes by nodding, and I do that sometimes. I'm guilty, so I have to pay attention now. I have to say that. Sometimes when people talk to me, all right, yes, okay, good, right. And
Gotcha.
Just to get them, you know what I'm saying? So we have to pay attention to that now.
Raymond Hamid from Virginia. Good evening to you, Gita Balde, Arjuna Madre. Hey, John Nima, thank you very much. Before I miss your comments, let's see. The Caribbean Voice Media is locked on. The beautiful Bibi Ahmad and the beautiful...
Ronita Jeffrey, I think that's Fest's sister, right?
Sister, good evening to you.
I saw her on the boat too. She's a pretty girl too. She helped and worked hard. I hope
they took the beauty away from Fest.
Oh Lord, you too much.
Fest will be on in a minute. Say what? Hey, Cecile, good evening to you. That's Cecile Rampersad. And next July 13, we're heading with Fest and a group of folks heading to Connecticut. Diana Chudilal, good evening to you. Lena, thank you very much. Rosita Jeffrey, good evening. Let's see what else is locked on. Mr. Joe Thomas, good evening to you. Vishnu Suku, how you doing? Guyana Tunes, big up yourself. Azima Majid, good evening, good evening. And yes, the Concert for Hope in NYC is July 20th. Let's can continue.
So yes, sometimes we pretend to listen by nodding in agreement. Now and again, during the conversation, we selectively listen and choose to answer debate fragments of the conversation. The least used method, we are fully engaged in the conversation, concentrating our attention and energy on what is being said. And what is this is saying really, Shanaz, is that, when we are having a conversation, especially with someone who is sick, going through a hard time, we need to really sit down and pay 100% of our attention to the person, what they are really saying, and so that we can be able to respond to them appropriately.
And then it's always good to say, not to say, I think you should. You should always ask a question. Do you think I should do this? Would you like this? Let the options be up to that person.
That's right.
Would you like me to get you a cup of tea, or just, something like that.
That's
Hey, good
right.
evening to the beautiful Linda Singh. Good evening to each and every one of you locked on to Island Zone Radio. It's Monday, which means it's time for the Caribbean Voice presentation of the Mind Body Connection. 5 minutes of your time could save a life. Suicide prevention is everybody's
Everybody's business.
business. The beautiful Liz Padman. We will see you in Guyana.
She said so very true. The key is to a good marriage or relationship is good, strong communication. And I see my friend John, and I tell you, we keep writing each other all the time, and such a supportive guy. And he says in every life we have some trouble. Absolutely. When you worry, you make it double. Don't worry, be happy, and got no place to lay your head. Somebody came and took your bed. Don't worry, be happy. Well, thank you very much. And one of the things that we want to encourage our viewers to do is to actually communicate with us. We want this to be not I, myself, and Shanaz alone talking, that you guys interact with us and we can read your comments.
We love your feedback, so keep them comment, whether it's just silly to put a smile on somebody's face, as Liz replied to him. Sleep on the floor is the best place ever. It's good for back pain. So, Mr. John Nemeth, I hope you're taking that advice.
I don't like to sleep on the ground anyway. My whole skin hurt the next day.
Well, Liz said it's good for pain.
Yes. After listening to someone talking, we usually have one of the 4 reactions, right? We evaluate what the person is saying. We assess whether we agree or we disagree. We examine, we ask questions from our subjective perspective, and we want the person to talk. We want to hear what they have to say. Advising, we often advise from our own experience. And, now I've learned that something that, we shouldn't really, until somebody come ask us for, I was one who always say, I'm ready to give an advice. And I'm so cautious now that if you don't ask me sometime, I will have nothing to say. And that's one of the good thing about this show that I've learned too, that over the couple months that I've been on this show, I have grown so much too in terms of listening more. You know what I'm saying? Interpreting, we tend to think we fully understood all the aspect of situation, and we think we know everything what someone is going. Fortunately, empathy is a talent. It's a part talent and part training. Depends on your starting level of ability. Getting better at empathy might require more or less work than some. And we're all individuals. You may know more than I do. I may know more than you do. It's a level of ability. Getting better to empathize might require more or less work than someone else. But no matter what your starting point is, you can teach yourself to be better at empathy. And I can tell you that because I have learned that too, especially when I was doing all this reading. And I really learned a lot while I was doing this. And I'm learning just like you guys.
Every day is a good day to learn, and every day we're learning something.
Absolutely. And it says empathy contains 3 lessons, right? Understanding yourself. If you want to understand the emotions of others, Shanaz, you have to understand your own self. And it's truly, if you want to love somebody, you have to love your own self. You cannot give, and we said this before last week or the week before that, if you don't have love in your heart, you cannot give nobody love in them. So if you want to understand the emotion of others, you have to learn to empathize with yourself. Understanding yourself was written to help you understand and accept your emotions. Understanding and accepting your own feeling is especially for a healthy life. And it's the foundation of empathizing with others. Understanding others through practice and a commitment to thoughtfulness. Anyone can learn to understand how others are thinking and feeling. Understanding others is the blueprint that shows you how. Nonverbal empathy, when you understand what someone else is thinking or feeling, it becomes easier to interact with them. And, for example, if you went through a hard time, like you went through a rape and I went through a rape and we meet together, that's a good starting point for us to have a really good discussion. And is that I can empathize with you because guess what? I know what you went through and how difficult it is to go through all of this by yourself.
Show someone they would understand more because they've been through the same situation. For instance, a very young patient, she was only 34-year-old, started on dialysis.
Wow.
And I know she's a little strange, she's a little uncomfortable, it's all uneasy for her coming in there. So it's like the second week and I'm observing her and I introduce her to another younger person. They happen to be from the same country.
Really?
I know both of them. I talked to both of them a little bit. So then I introduced them in a friendly way. I said, meet my brother, and he's from this country. And she was so happy. She became a little bit more relaxed, enlightened, that, you know what? She said, you're from there? And he said, yes. And they started chatting a little bit, and you could see how relieved she was, knowing that, you know what, I have someone else who might understand what I'm going through, what I'm feeling.
You know, that goes to say that, you know, when I was at North General Hospital, I had to do I had to remove my tonsils, and there was this nurse who I know, and you know, in the operating room, my blood pressure actually went up. I was not really scared, but I don't know how my blood pressure went up.
Was it a very good-looking nurse?
She's always nice. She was a pleasant, nice nurse, and I knew her well, and you know, we interact before. And so when I went to the operating room, one of the things that she did, it was so cold in there. You know, you just have on your gown, and when my back touches the bed, I was so cold, and
Because
she said,
it's leather.
yeah, leather, and she said, "Come, Rampy, come. Let me go warm a sheet and
I
bring
think
it for
that's
you."
what was making your blood pressure go up.
Oh Lord Jesus, no. So Shanaz, these little things that people do, really, and that has been since 1995.
Action
It
speaks
louder than voice.
words.
Yeah, exactly. So, and I still remember her kindness, what she did. And when I wake up, she was right there to help take care of me. You know what I'm saying? And as human being, you and I know, you know that, you know what, when you do these kind of things, it really, and you're having your patients, it really helped them alleviate all these kind of anxiousness that they are going through. So always to remember, you know, to be good whatever you're doing.
That's right. And I'll read a comment from Mr. Sunny Narayan. He said, make your guests more comfortable than you make yourself at home. That is so true, Sunny, you know. Now I feel like some of us forget our, you know, kindness and how we should treat a guest at home. Good evening to each and every one of you. Arjuna Madre, Linai, good evening, good evening. Hey, Peggy.
Oh, that's my friend all the way from Virginia. Has been my friend for probably over 20 years. She's a kind and beautiful woman. You know what? And we're talking about plants. You see my plants up there. And every time I do this, I kind of remember, it reminds me of her because she does all these fancy things with plants and sell them. She's so talented. You know, I love you, Peggy. We have been friends for such a long time, and we have kept in touch over these 20 years.
That's right, good friends. Hey, let's read the Caribbean Voice Media comment. How critical it is to be a good listener when dealing with the victims of domestic violence or individuals who are depressed. That's right. And we have a brand new member of the Caribbean Voice. So congratulations to all our new members. And you could follow us on Facebook. You could also check out our website, caribvoice at AOL.com, and you'll see beautiful words, what we're doing in Guyana, our programs on the social media, newspapers, all the works we're doing in Guyana is on our social media page and on the website. We'll have a beautiful song coming up right by Mr. Bollywood, Anthony Prasad. Hey, Cecilia, good evening to you. The Caribbean Voice, good evening, good evening. Thank you very much, Geeta.
I want to say I met, you know, Sonny drop off my ticket here last week to go to the boat show. I met him. He's a kind guy. He had a lot of fun actually on the boat. He was dancing so much on the boat, you know. So all good. Nice meeting you, Sonny, and keep up your good work.
Lena, I said some people is looking for attention. No matter how much you try talking to them, it's still their own. They're still their own way. Well, some folks, no matter how much you could talk to them, you know, they continue doing what they want to do. Arjuna Madre, thank you very much. And let's go to a beautiful song by Mr. Bollywood. For those of you who missed him, the performance in Kissimmee, Florida, this is your chance to listen to his audio version of it. And I hope to see you guys July 20th at the beautiful Caribbean Cabana restaurant, as you'll have Mr. Bollywood. Mr. Bollywood, also we have our very own Prince JP from Guyana and our own Amir Khan. So let's go with that number, and we'll be right back with the Caribbean Voice Media right here on Island Zone Radio.
And let me just end this here, Shanaz, and by the time you pull that song up, the knowledge you gain from empathy can help you to use appropriate nonverbal communication.
That's right.
So always, guys, use that empathy that you have. You're blessed with it. Use it, and it will help you along your life. All the decisions you have to make. I want to hear Apache Warrior.
Continue talking, Ken.
All right, guys. Well, we are coming up with the song in a minute,
segment.
entertainment. So we have blessings to you. Arjuna Madre says, blessing to Kenneth Shanaz and their wonderful family for being patient and acknowledge what they are doing for hope. Yes, we have to make a difference. And thank you very much. You are too. You're encouraging us every day to continue to do what we do. Okay?
Remember to love yourself and love everyone around you. Hey, Sateshu Dairam is locked on. Sati Alberto, good evening to you. Anna and Moti, how you doing?
What is saying there? Satish, I want to say on behalf of the Caribbean Voice, I know that you are a member of the Caribbean Voice. Thank you so very much for all that you're doing for the Caribbean Voice and for humanity. Please continue to share and to do your kind work. Hope to meet you sometime soon in the future.
Yes, well, I encourage you to come to Guyana with us as we're heading to Guyana August 3rd, the beautiful classic hotel. Arjuna Madre, thank you very much. And yes, we have a request from Mr. Apache Warrior, new song featuring the beautiful Sonia Singh. And Apache Warrior is also a member of the Caribbean Voice when it comes to doing our shows. He's always there volunteering. His next performance in NYC will be Concert for Hope, July 20th at the Caribbean Cabana Restaurant. The new showtime is 5 to 10 p.m. as we're going to party in the sun and then party all the way to the moonlight. DJ, do you have a song coming up for these beautiful listeners right here on Island Zone Radio? Let's go. Where is DJ Fez? Did he get stuck on that boat?
All right.
Did someone say Kali Salam? Well, it's one of my favorite tunes, so let's go.
इश्क क्या मोहब्बत क्या भूल बैठा सब कुछ मैं तो दिन क्या रात क्या चाहत में खाली सलाम दुआ मुलाकात में चेहरे की रंगत बदल रही है तेरी सोहबत में खाली सलाम दुआ मुलाकात में चेहरे की रंगत बदल रही है तेरी सोहबत में ये तूने क्या किया ये तूने क्या किया मैं दिल की जन्नत में खाली सलाम दुआ मुलाकात में चेहरे की रंगत बदल रही है तेरी सोहबत में जो खालीपन था जो सूना मन था वो खिल उठा है जाने खुदा बदल रहा है हर एक मौसम बेचैन दिल का जाने खुदा जाने खुदा जाने खुदा तुमसे मिलके मैंने जाना जोश क्या जुनून चैन क्या सुकून है क्या चाहत में खाली सलाम दुआ मुलाकात में चेहरे की रंगत बदल रही है तेरी सोहबत में खाली सलाम दुआ मुलाकात में चेहरे की रंगत बदल रही है तेरी सोहबत में जो बढ़ रहा है दिलों का रिश्ता वो बढ़ता जाए है ये दुआ टूटे कभी ना ये सिलसिला अब सारी उम्र बस है ये दुआ है ये दुआ है ये दुआ तुमसे मिलके मैंने जाना रंग क्या रूप क्या भूल बैठा सब कुछ मैं तो छाँव क्या धूप क्या चाहत में खाली सलाम दुआ मुलाकात में चेहरे की रंगत बदल रही है तेरी सोहबत में खाली सलाम दुआ मुलाकात में चेहरे की रंगत बदल रही है तेरी सोहबत में
Dallas Dua.
Welcome back to Island Zone Radio, the Caribbean Voice presentation of the Mind Body Connection. Hey, Edwin Basdev, good evening to you. Siobhan Udat, how you're doing? The beautiful Geeta Balde, our number one supporter when it comes to the Caribbean Voice. Hey, Renette Jeffrey, thank you very much. It's a beautiful song. Kali Salam Dua. And I believe Raymond Ramnarayan sing that song. And also we have the other version from Mr. Bollywood, Anthony Prasad. Hey, Danny Ram and Christina, good evening to you. Good evening to each and every one of you locked on to Island Zone Radio. It is now 9:10 p.m. in NYC. Mr. Dale Moti, I know he's having a good time in the beautiful Disney World with his little one. Bibi Razak, good evening to you. Debbie, Sunny, how you doing? Yes, he is watching us from Disney World.
Well, thank you very much for watching us. And Moti, as you are listening to us now, I want to take this opportunity and say on behalf of the Caribbean Voice, we would like to say thank you to your wife, to you, and to your daughter for her to sing so beautifully for us, for the Caribbean Voice. And I hope that she continues to do this for us, okay? Thank you very much.
That's right. Thank you, Mr. Dale Moti, and all the wonderful folks who participated in this last weekend program in Kissimmee, Florida. Concert for Hope was a success because all of you guys came together. Satesh Udayaram, Nati Ramatar, Anthony Prasad, Soka Raja. Soka Raja was very impressed of what we do, the Caribbean Voice. And, you know, he's always there for us as needed. Thank you guys very much for tuning in. Let's continue with our topic tonight.
So, as we are talking, a good listener will always listen not only to what is being said, but also to what's being left unsaid. And we're talking about body language, is that you're not only listening to what the person is saying, but you're paying attention. Absolutely. Effective listening, therefore, involves observing your body language and noticing inconsistencies between verbal and nonverbal communication messages, as well as just what is being said and any given moment. And you know, Shana, sometime at the workplace, you see you're talking to your colleagues and you're not watching what they're saying, but you see how they're talking about your colleague. As soon as the back turn, they're ready to do all these facial gestures and always saying these negative things. And that's why I tell people, when people is talking, you need to listen to what they are saying. For example, if someone is tell you that they are happy with their life, but through grinding their teeth and
you can hear it in their voice as well, the way their tone of voice is.
Exactly. So when you see they're crying, you should consider that the verbal and nonverbal message are in conflict. Maybe they don't mean what they're saying. They're just putting on a show. And a lot of people does this just to hide like abuse and all these things. You know, there are some principles in empathy, right? And one of them is stop. You should, when someone is talking, you should stop talking and don't talk. Just listen. You need to pay that. Let it pay. What I'm saying is that you don't want them to feel that you're not listening to them.
Give them one-on-one attention.
Exactly. So if we were supposed to be talk more than we listen, then we wouldn't have two tongues and one ear. That's why we have two ears, so we can do much more listening than we are talking. And that Mark Twain says that when somebody else is talking, listen to what they are saying. Do not interrupt, talk over them, or finish their sentences for them. Stop, just listen. When the other person has finished talking, you may need to clarify to ensure you have received all the message what they're saying accurately. To say that, if you don't understand when someone is talking, what they're saying, it's a good thing to ask them to repeat themselves. What are you saying? Rather than you walk away not understanding what they're saying.
Misunderstanding what they're trying to tell you. Nasima Rohaman from Toronto, good evening to you. Mr. Joe Thomas, how are you doing? And I can see all the sharers in our box. Danny Ram and Christina, thank you for sharing. Mr. Deo Moti, thank you for sharing. Mr. John Nimat, hit those shares. Thank you guys very much for sharing. Padmini Ramisar, Mohini Bola, Sylvia Charles, Priya Prasad.
Our friend from Guyana.
And you were just talking about this guy, Ryan Jeffrey.
Well, he is back. What is the topic tonight, guys?
Well, the topic tonight was the boat cruise this Saturday. That is the topic tonight, and how well Ken behaved. And
I'm always behaving. I don't misbehave. So we're talking about empathic communication. Thank you, Priya, for tuning in, and please feel free to make your comment, all of you. And Jeffrey, what I was saying, and I know you don't like a lot of praises, but I was telling our audience who's listening to us what a wonderful boat cruise you planned this year and how beautiful it was. And you have choose two wonderful artists to perform. Your uncle, Mr. D. Raj, who still know how to shake that boat, and the beautiful Miss Fiona Singh. So that's it for that. Another thing is to prepare yourself to listen. Relax, focus on the speaker. Put other things out of mind. The human mind is easily distracted. You and I know that. By other thoughts, like what's for lunch, what time do I need to leave to catch my train? So you don't want all of that to go. You go there and you sit down and you listen. Put the speaker at ease. And one of the things that I always tell, I did some talking to some people, and one of the things I always tell them is that, you know what, I'm here to listen to you, and I'm not here to take any sides. I will speak the truth, and I will give you the best advice that I can give you. And if there's I can't advise you, then I can refer you to somebody somewhere else. But if you're talking to somebody, a patient or any person who come with you, like domestic violence and so on, you need to sit down with them in a nice cozy room, where there is no much distraction, like people walking around, because people come and they see people around, they may not want
shy,
to talk.
They don't feel comfortable. And remember, you could call us the Caribbean Voice. We do offer counseling. We believe it's no to suicide, domestic violence, child abuse, and alcoholism. Our services are completely free, so do call us if you know someone is in need.
Yes, and remember their needs and concern. Nod or use other gestures or words to encourage them to continue talking. And one of the things, you maintain your eye contact, but don't stare down someone in their face. You know what I'm talking about. You want the person to be comfortable. Show that you are listening and that you're understanding what is being said. Remove distractions. Focus on what is being said. Don't doodle, pulling papers on your iPhone and pick your fingernails and scratch your head and all these things. Also, you must empathize. Try to understand the other person's point of view, what they are saying. Look at issues from their perspective, not yours. You are not going to look at them through your lens. Now, you want to listen exactly what they're saying. Let go of the preconceived idea by having an open mind. And when we talk about open mind, when you're going to discussion like this, it's always to go with an open mind. No, don't be judgmental.
Listen non-judgmentally.
Exactly so. Mind, we can be more empathized with the speaker. If the speaker says something that you disagree with, then wait and construct an argument to counter what is said, but keep an open mind to the views and options of other. The other thing is that one needs to do is to be patient. A pause, even a long pause, does not necessarily mean that the person who is talking is allowing you to talk or give you that opportunity to talk. Wait until you get the go-ahead to talk, because sometimes people, when they're talking to you, they're upset, they're going through a lot of emotions. They may pause because of the amount of emotion what they're going through.
Themselves a little bit.
Exactly. So be patient, let the speaker, yes, never interrupt or finish the sentence of someone who's coming to you that really, really needs to talk. Avoid personal prejudice. Try to be impartial. Don't become irritated, and don't let the person's habits or mannerism distract you from what they are really speaking or really saying. As I said, you just pay attention to what that person is saying. Everybody has a different way of speaking. Some people are more, for example, more nervous or shy than others. Some have regional accents and makes excessive arm movement. You know, some people like to move their hand when they're talking and on these things. Some people like to pace while talking. Others like to sit still. So you have to see how you're going to arrange that environment so that this person can feel comfortable when they're talking to you. Focus on what is being said and try to ignore styles of delivery. As I said, that some people have different ways how they want to talk. I want to say hello to John from Queens, my cousin Ramdat from Parika in Guyana. Thank you guys for listening to our program, and please share.
Arjuna Madre, sorry for your loss, and we'll read his comment.
He said, I just lost my oldest sister, husband, from a massive ruptured artery that causes him his life, and the younger age 65. On behalf of the Caribbean Voice, we would like to extend to you and to your family our deepest sympathy. Listen to the tone, volume and tone both add to what someone is saying. A good speaker will use both volume and tone to their advantage to keep the audience attentive. And I try to do this sometime when I'm doing the show. Everybody will use a pitch, tone, and volume of voice to certain situation. Let these help you to understand the emphasis of what is being said. Listen for ideas, not just words. You need to get to the whole picture, not just isolated bits and pieces. Maybe one of the most difficult aspects of listening is the ability to link together pieces of information to reveal the idea of others with proper concentration, letting go of distraction and focus. This becomes easier. And finally, wait and watch for nonverbal communication. As we said, nonverbal communication, it says a whole lot of what's going on. Gesture, face expression, and eye contact can all be important. We just don't listen and with our ears, but also with our eyes. Watch and pick up the the additional information being transmitted via nonverbal communication. So again, we're going to come with a song in just a few minutes. And that's with that. We see Juliet Dial is locked on. Thank you very much for tuning in.
Mr. Joe Thomas, good evening to you. Thank you guys very much for tuning in. Lenai, good evening. Gita Baldev, Azima Majid, good evening. Kale Deodat, how you're doing? Thank you guys for sharing. I could see who's sharing. And thank you for being a part of the Caribbean Voice. Let's go to music, and we'll be right back right here on Island Zone Radio.
दिल बहलता है मेरा आपकी
आपकी आ जाने से, आपकी आ जाने से, आपकी आ जाने से, आपकी आ जाने से, आपकी आ जाने से।
गुल से कुछ हसीना बुलबुल के, गुल से कुछ हसीना बुलबुल के गुनगुनाने से दिल बहलता है मेरा, आपके आ जाने से, आपके आ जाने से, आपके आ जाने से, आपके आ जाने से, आपके आ जाने से।
ख्वाब में जन्नत का नक्शा आ गया जब सामने, ख्वाब में जन्नत का नक्शा आ गया जब सामने, हुरों से भी दिल ना बहला, हम लगे तुझे ढूंढने। जन्नत की बहारों से न परियों के, जन्नत की बहारों से न परियों के मुस्कुराने से दिल बहलता है मेरा, आपकी आ जाने से, आपकी आ जाने से, आपकी आ जाने से, आपकी आ जाने से, आपकी आ जाने से।
एक दिन मैं भी गई थी जोहरी बाजार में, एक दिन मैं भी गई थी जोहरी बाजार में, तेरी आँख याद आई हीरो के बिहार में। मोती से हीरो सीना से बरसे, मोती से हीरो सीना से बरसे, न किसी खजाने से दिल बहलता है मेरा, आपकी आ जाने
Beautiful song indeed. It sounds like the original. Mr. Joel Thomas, thank you very much.
आपके आ जाने से आपके आ जाने से आपके आ जाने से
मैं से मीना से न साखी से मैं से मीना से न साखी से न पैमाने से दिल बहलता है मेरा आपके आ जाने से आपके आ जाने से आपके आ जाने से
आपके आ जाने से आपके आ जाने से
Doris Diaram, good evening to you. Diana Chunilal, how you doing? Lena, good evening to you. And yes, we are back. I hope you guys enjoyed that tune, hand selected by yours truly, Ken Arjuna Madre. Thank you very much. And he's still recuperating from this Saturday's. He had so much fun, and we had so much fun in the beautiful Kissimmee as well.
That's right. That's right. Everybody had fun, and that's a good thing. I hope that in our next concert, I hope that you guys are going to, some of you who are living close by, I know Arjuna Madre is going to be there. He promised me he's going to be there. So I am looking forward to see him.
That's right. We're looking forward to each and every one of your support, Doris Gairam. Thank you very much. And yes, everyone is getting ready for that long weekend. It's going to be a short week for most of us. And I plan on barbecuing. I hope you guys plan on barbecuing as well. Spend some time with your loved ones. And let's go with our topic tonight.
Let's say how to develop your empathic communication skills, increase the attention by self-detachment and self-decentralization, be more receptive to what the other person is saying, abstain from quickly assessing the situation and giving suggestion to the person. So we're saying you don't want to run in and jump and give advice to the person. You wait, let the person finish. Move from listening to the dialogues, informative consent, to listening to the things that cannot be directly or verbally expressed. And as we always talk about, pay attention to the nonverbal communication. Check whether that you heard and what the other person is saying with the verbalization is correct. Try not to make assumptions, and that's a good thing. Don't be judgmental. Don't try to assume of what you think is going on. Pay attention to what the person is saying. And why is empathic communication essential? Connect with the people around you. Empathy helps you not only to be afraid of strangers. If you do not want to live a lonely life and feel like everyone is against you, then you need to work on your empathic communication skills. Empathy helps you understand that every person has a lot of common with you, and we are largely following the same goal. It reminds us that we are genetically programmed to care for one another and to help one another. Give up and absolute prejudice. It doesn't make sense for us not to like this one and not to like that one because of their race and the color of their skin. We are indoctrinated by the media and society that all Muslims are terrorists and that Jews head the world and so on. And all this hatred and fear dissolves when we get a chance to give the person in front of us to tell the story. Look at their experience through the eyes and understand the reason for doing things. And again, I want to say we must be able to go into someone and listen to what they're saying without being non-judgmental and not to run to any conclusion of what's going on. Also, to help the environment by connecting to other people, understanding their needs, experience, and goal, we become more receptive to the factors that can benefit or hinder their development. Thus, we start development to be compassionate in behavior, and as such, we are more aware of the consequences of our actions. As a matter of fact, a recent survey related to the reduction of global warming revealed that tapping into our tendencies towards compassion for others was a more effective motivator than appealing to self-interest. We're going to talk about effective communication, some of the skills, and I pull up just a few things. being able to listen to others is imperative in the communication process. This means not only listening with your ears, as we said, but also being able to comprehend what the other person is saying, giving one your full attention when they are conveying an idea can go a long way in building relationships and furthering process. And as you know, we're talking about this subject today. It's so we keep saying it all the time, and we have to, when people want to talk, to let them able to talk without you interrupting them. Having empathy is very useful in communication. Empathy involves seeing things from the point of view of others. Put yourself in the other person's position instead of being judgmental or biased by your own belief. And, you know, a thing that, you know, I was looking at, I should not use my yardstick really to judge what you want to do in your life. You know what? We shouldn't judge people either way, period, as you're saying. Our standard, our value is very different. As long as people are being respectful, that's all good.
Let them live their life as you have yours.
Exactly.
Sankar Bihari, good evening to you. Good evening, John Nimad Dalari. Good evening to you. And she wrote something here.
She said, great show, guys. A lot of can be learned from you guys. Viewers, take heed. You can help someone else. Stay blessed, my friends. And she's always been supportive of the Caribbean Voice. I see my friend Navin just joined. Thank you very much. I know you had a lot of fun in Florida in the sun. Most of all, acknowledge what someone is saying. Acknowledgement is the way of caring. Yes, thank you very much, Liz. While this may be difficult for some people, emphasizing with others can be very helpful to keep the tune with your own emotions and idea, encouraging others to heighten morals and apprehension in any given relationship. By praising and offering words of encouragement, you help others feel that they are wanted, welcome, and respected. And it is so important in friendship. Even to you and I want you to feel that, you know what, I'm important to, and I value you, you know what I'm saying? And the little things that I do sometimes for you, yes, and just to show that I appreciate what you're doing, and the little things that you do for me is just to show my appreciation to you too.
Good night to the flow. That is Water Flow. He goes by Pani Flow. Feroz Khan, good evening to you. Doris Dairam, good evening, good evening. Thank you guys very much for tuning in to Island Zone Radio. Every Monday, 8 to 10 p.m. is a Caribbean Voice presentation of the Mind-Body Connection. Our next program in NYC, Concert for Hope, is July 20th at the beautiful Caribbean Cabana restaurant. And I do hope you bring your friends and your family and support the Caribbean Voice.
And Feroz Khan, I'm going to get in touch with you today after the show or sometime tomorrow. See how you would like to help us. I'll give you my number and Chana's number, okay?
We have the beautiful, Shanti Singh, Soka Raja, Anthony Prasad, Apache Warrior, the Prince of Guyana, also our very own Amir Khan. So many artists volunteering their time and their effort. All the way from Trinidad, Mr. Jesh Ramanan. And he's going to be singing for the Caribbean Voice Concert for Hope. All these faces are familiar to our community. So come and support them because they're supporting us, the Caribbean Voice. July 20th at the beautiful Caribbean Cabana restaurant. 5 to 10 p.m. We'll party in the sun. The beautiful sunlight, then we'll go all the way to the moonlight.
Yes, and I see the beautiful Shanti Singh will be singing too. So Shanti, she's such a friendly person too. I see her
very helpful as well.
Yeah, I met her at the on the boat. Yes, so encourage others will heighten moral and appreciation in any given relationship by praising and offering words of encouragement. You can help others feel warm. You can make them feel welcome, wanted, and respected by all. And you know what is so important, Shanaz, that we as human beings to let people know how much we appreciate them. The little things go far.
For gratitude.
That's exactly so.
We always say, look at our glass half full and not half empty. Stop complaining of the things we don't have and appreciate what we do have, because believe me, most of us have too much.
Absolutely.
And still we're just, it's amount of greed that comes in. We don't have this, we don't have that. You just have an attitude for gratitude. We do have a lot, and if we have each other, that's more than enough.
I see Savi Kush just joined. Thank you very much.
The beautiful Auntie Nalini and Michael Naidu. I'm sure you saw them on the boat.
Wait, you know what? I saw them and I was going to go say hello to them. But by the time I went over, I don't know where they went. So, and I stay one place on that boat. So that's the bad thing.
He
So-
stayed one place on that boat.
Where the action was.
Liz, good evening to you, dearest Diaram. Thank you guys for sharing. Sharing is caring. Thank you, thank you. And I hope to see this program on each and every one of your timeline as you guys interact and get involved with the Caribbean Voice.
Yes. Also, be aware of others and their emotions, being sympathetic to misfortunes and praising positive milestones to achieve this successfully. You need to know what is going on in other people's life. You know. Getting to know co-workers, friends, and even families on a first-name basis and holding meaningful conversation through work week creates a better and more productive work and environment. And you know, in the work environment, it's your friends and you have good attitude. You all get through. You all interact each other nicely. You get more things done. It's better. And in terms of communication, especially where patient care is concerned, that you don't want to go talk to somebody because they don't want to talk to you. Who suffers? The patient will suffer. So
Put
a
that
good thing
aside.
to.
And you said know your friends and who you're talking to. I know my patients by their voice. Sometimes I have my head down, or if I'm busy and they say bye, and I'll address them by their first name, and sometimes they're very impressed. How do you know that was me? I know your voice.
Yeah, yes, Michael, Nalini, Naidu. I did see you guys, and I was outside. I was coming to say hi, but then somebody stopped me and talked to me, and I thought I was going to see you guys on the boat, but I'm not sure where you guys. But don't worry, the world is a small place,
You'll be
and
seeing
we
him
will.
July 20th supporting the Caribbean Voice. He just purchased 20 tickets supporting the Caribbean Voice Concert for Hope July 20th at the beautiful Caribbean Cabana restaurant. And I know Auntie Nalini will be there. Arjuna Madre will be there. Jaya Shri Sarju. And where's Mr. Sean Sarju? Sean is from Long Island.
Okay, our body language can greatly impact how others perceive you in the workplace. Maintain an extrovert-friendly persona. Let people know that you are open to hearing their opinion about anything you may have to say. But the language is a large part of being empathetic and encouraging. Be sure to maintain eye contact. I always like to watch people when I'm talking to them, even when we are doing this show. The majority of the time you are speaking with someone, and use hands gesture to help from clear your thoughts. You know, I do that all the time. You get to see that, how I use my hands. People who smile more are seen as more approachable and are more trustworthy. And I love to smile. It's free. You do. They call you Smiley. I see somebody says Smiley on
I always say smile because the world could use your smile. You never know who's having a hard day, and a smile goes very far. And as Imran Ahmad said, smile. And if someone don't have a smile, give them your smile. Give them something to smile about.
That's right. That's right. And while many of these good communication skills occur naturally in individuals, some may need to be learned and practiced in order to become second nature. And it's easy for people like me and you to go and we're outgoing. We say hi. We're not scared of anybody. But there are some people who will sit like my friend, my little boy here. Arvin told me he's shy. He don't want to talk to nobody. So I have to get that out of him. Because he will be going a lot of places with me. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So that's that. So guys, always remember to always be, don't be judgmental on people. And some examples of empathy response, acknowledge you're going to talk to somebody, acknowledge their pain. Perhaps the best thing you can do is to acknowledge how the other person feels. When you connect with someone's pain or struggle, it helps him or her to feel supported. It shows you understand or are trying to understand how that person feels. People in pain really just want to be heard. They want validation, and a lot of us need validation in our lives. That's what they are going through. It's difficult, and they want us to understand that they're going through a hard time. And I'm going to tell you, there's some things that you can say, I'm sorry that you're going through this. Wow, that's really sucks. I hate that this is happening to you. You don't want to tell someone, that's good, this is happening to you. You want to be encouraging them to stay by them. That's must be hard on you. And while you say it may be hard on you, you let that person know that, you know what, I am there to support you no matter what goes on. Shanaz, I'll be right there with you.
Or you're feeling
And-
what they're feeling, you're understanding what
And
they're
it's
coming
always
from.
good to know that someone will be there for you. You can't, you know, I like when I get upset or I like to talk to somebody. And I don't want to talk to somebody who's going to judge me and go and say things that I say back. You know what I'm saying? I see your friend Girly Prasad is on. Thank you very much for all you do for the Caribbean Voice.
The beautiful Girly Prasad was at the Caribbean Voice Concert for Hope last Saturday, and we had fun together. Doris Dairam. The locations for tickets, we could pick it up at Big Well Bakery and Halal Restaurant, 107th Street and Liberty Avenue. And that is Big Well. It's not Bakewell. A lot of folks, I've been advertising Big Well. And they asked me if it's Bakewell. Big and bake is two different words. So Big Well is located on 107th Street and Liberty Avenue. Also, the Caribbean Cabana Restaurant. Pam Samaro, good evening to you. Naomi Ramdas, how you doing? And I hope each and every one of you are doing fine. Excited for the 4th of July.
Oh, that's my little son, Kevin. Kevin is not home.
Oh, Kevin is by his aunt's house. I already got the rundown. Naomi, good evening to you. And yes, Kevin, good evening, good evening. Maharani Dubey, good evening to you. The beautiful Geeta Ram Prasad. Nadira Prasad, good evening to you. Priya Prasad.
Yeah, the sense of comfort is so important. I forgot to say, I see Buddy Singh wife was on not too long ago. It was nice meeting you at the boat show. You were a lot of fun too. So thank you very much, and keep the spirit that you have.
Arjuna Madhu said, pay attention to your body and your mind and you'll be successful in life. Thank you very much. Hey, the beautiful Lalita Ramnath. I cannot wait for Thursday to bust her beautiful tune right here on Island Zone Radio. It is one of the hottest tune, and I don't have it in my playlist tonight, but on Thursday, do join me again right here on Island Zone Radio. We'll have party, we'll barbecue, and maybe you'll see Ken dancing.
Yes, it's a bad thing. I don't like to hear music, but I'm not crazy,
Dancing
you know.
is the best exercise. I don't see anything wrong with dancing, and encourage others to go out there and live life to its fullest.
That's right. And you know what? You tell the person that song's very challenging. I can see how that will be very difficult. Share how you feel. Sometimes it's okay to simply admit you don't know what to say to someone, or you have a hard time imagining what it is and what it's like to experience what the other person is going through. Whatever you do, just make sure you don't diminish the other person's experience or make it all about you. When somebody come talk to you, please don't let them feel that, you know what, you're not listening to them, and you don't make it feel about you. No, let the person know that you're their undivided attention that you're paying to them. You know what I'm saying? Another thing, instead of focusing on sharing your feelings to help you better connect with theirs, here are some examples of what you could really do and what it's going to sound like. Wow, I don't know what to say. I am so sorry. But I know that, you know what, you can hold their hand and you can, if you're...
Bodily comfort, a
yes,
hug might help.
Exactly.
I can always
So,
ask, what would you like me to do?
exactly. So you take it out of my
What would you
life.
like me to do?
How can I help
can
in
I
this
help?
situation? I wish I could make you feel better. My heart is hurting for you. It makes me really sad to hear this happen to you. Show gratitude that a person opened up. You want to let that person know that, you know what, that you are there to listen to them. And many people struggle with because they have been burned before. They don't want to share their struggles for fear that they wouldn't receive an empathy response. It definitely felt the way for a long time. You want that person know that, you know what, you thank them for trusting you and for telling you all these things. And you let them know that, you know what, this is just between us. I would not be saying this to anyone. When someone chooses to open up to you, it shows they really trust you. It's your job to honor that and to respond with care and with love. Let the person know you appreciate his or her sharing with you, and acknowledge that it might have been difficult to do so. When you do this, it's signal that you are in a safe harbor and they can talk freely with you. And hear what the response might sound like. Thank you for sharing with me. I am glad you told me. Thank you for trusting with me with this. That really means a lot to me, that you trust me and that you're sharing this with me. This must be hard to talk about. Thanks for opening up to me. Show interest going through difficult times can be terrible, isolating, and lonely. Can you imagine you sick and you in a house by yourself and nobody to talk to, no one to communicate to? That's why people share their struggle. They are longing for connection. They want someone to take interest in their story and understand how they are feeling. The best way to connect with someone is not by talking, but by listening to someone. Again, I'm going to tell you, if someone come to you with a problem, please, they are there because they want you to listen to them.
Lend them your ears.
Exactly. So I see the beautiful Una Prasad. I must stop say how you're doing. Thank you for being a friend. You're always nice and always have encouraging words. The best way to connect with someone is not by talking, but by listening. Again, that's why I say it back again. Show that you care by asking questions and showing a genuine interest in what they really have to say. Here's what it would sound like. How are you feeling about everything? What has this been feeling like for you? What has this been like for you? I want to make sure I understand what you're feeling, what you're going through. What I'm hearing is that what you're feeling. That's right, because you know what? Sometimes you can misconstrue what the person is saying and what they're feeling, and being judgmental, and you thinking of your own thing. No, you want to get it right from the horse's mouth and what they're feeling. Is there anything else you want to share with me? You leave that open-ended question. See if there's anything that they want to share with you. In this way, they know that they could talk to you. Be encouraging. I believe most people really want to encourage when a friend or loved one is going through a tough time. You know what? It's always good to be there as a support. The problem is what we often show this by trying to fix the problem or forcing the person to look on the bright side. And while our intentions are good, this approach is rarely helpful to a person who is in pain. And that doesn't mean that you can be encouraging. You simply have to be mindful of how you approach it. Instead of saying it will get better or here what I would do, remind her or him that you love her, share what you admire about her, help her see what you can do, that she is an amazing person who is worth of loving. And you know, I want to say this, that you know, sometimes I go to funerals and I hear people saying some things. They said, well, he's in a better place. And in my mind, it's saying,
do they know that?
how do you know that he's in a better place? And in my mind, I'm saying to myself, I think for me, like I got 2 small sons and my wife, and she's young, I'm still a little young. And I say to myself, I think, in my opinion, the best place to be at is to be able to be with my loved ones, to be able to take care of my wife and my children. So when you make that kind of statement that he's in a better place, one have to be very careful. You know how you say this.
They believe they're comforting the family.
Right, but it's not doing them any good. Right. The other thing is that, you know, if someone gets sick or something happened, you know, you people say, oh, it will get better. You know what? We are not in that position to know if this is going to get better. We don't know. We are just assuming. The other thing is that I know people saying, oh, this too shall pass. It's just a comforting words. We are saying, oh, this too shall pass. We don't know. And we don't know when we go to bed what's going to happen to us if we get up the next morning. And that's why it's so important, you know, that we talk about suicide, we talk about all these things, that when people talk about suicide and they're feeling depressed and all these things, it's always good for us to give them lending ear. Instead of saying, you know what, it's get better.
Stay positive. It's good to give them a positive message. And the beautiful Dolores Sigobin said, communication is a key to a good relationship. Doris Zairam, thank you very much. Thank you to Island Zone Radio. Linai, thank you. The beautiful Auntie Nalini is wishing you guys a happy 4th of July, coming from Island Zone also. And the Caribbean Voice, have fun with your loved ones. Doris Zairam, Linai, Una, good evening, good evening. Arjuna Madre, thank you very much. And I believe, was it blue? Was it yellow or was it red? I believe it was orange.
Okay, so now let's go for a song. I see Priya wrote some things, and I'm so sorry I didn't get to
read. She put a link in here, so guys, you check it out. She always share her experience and her knowledge with each and every one of us. So check out that link when our program is done. Of course, sharing is caring, so do hit share so it could be on your timeline. You never know who will need the 5 minutes of your time. And if you cannot help someone, do not hurt them in the process. Reach out to us, the Caribbean Voice. We have counselors on the telephone line waiting to help everyone. Let's go. This is done by Mr. Bollywood Anthony Prasad, and he'll be performing July 20th.
तुमसे मैं अपना बनाऊंगा तू है सनम मेरा प्यार ओए मेरा दिल तेरा आशिक तू है सनम मेरा प्यार ओए मेरा दिल तेरा आशिक
सपनों में आओगी नींदी उड़ाओगी तुझको
The beautiful Angela Multi and Mr. Bollywood Anthony Prasad as he's getting ready for July 20th at the beautiful Caribbean Cabana restaurant.
नींद छुपाए कई बार ओए मेरा दिल तेरा
एक लड़का एक लड़की थी एक दूजे पे मरते थे राज वफा बदलाने से वो दोनों तो डरते थे
पागल दिल ना माना बन ही गया अफसाना होने लगी मुलाकातें खुल गई सारी बातें
ओ ऐसे न जाऊंगा मस्ती लुटाऊंगा गालों से तेरे में लाली चुराऊंगा मैंने किया है इकरार ओए मेरा दिल तेरा आशिक मैंने किया है इकरार ओए मेरा दिल तेरा आशिक
सपनों में आओगी नींदी उड़ाओगी तुझको कसम से भी अपना बनाओगी मैंने छुपाए कई बार ओए मेरा दिल तेरा आशिक मैंने छुपाए कई बार ओए मेरा दिल तेरा आशिक मैंने तुझको चाहा है प्यार में जीना मरना है कुछ बिगड़ ले ये दुनिया अब न मुझको डरना है
याद तेरी धर पाए चैन कहीं ना आए ओ मेरी जाने जाना दूर कभी ना जाना
बाहों में आओगी दुनिया फसाओगी तेरे बिना तो मैं अब जी ना पाओगी तुझ पे किया है एतबार ओए मेरा दिल तेरा आशिक तुझ पे किया है एतबार ओए मेरा दिल तेरा आशिक
ओ अपना छुपाऊंगा सबको बताऊंगा तुझको कसम से मैं अपना बनाऊंगा तू है सनम मेरा प्यार ओए मेरा दिल तेरा आशिक तू है सनम मेरा प्यार ओए मेरा दिल तेरा आशिक
मैंने छुपाए कई बार ओए मेरा दिल तेरा आशिक
तू है सनम मेरा प्यार ओए मेरा दिल तेरा आशिक
मैंने छुपाए कई बार ओए मेरा दिल तेरा आशिक
Guys, follow us on Facebook. You could also visit www.carbvoice.org and see what we're going on, what's going on with the Caribbean Voice, all our projects and all our events, what's happening in our newspapers and other social media programs. Good evening to each and every one of you. Thank you for joining us on Island Zone Radio every Monday. The Caribbean Voice presentation, 8 to 10 p.m. The Mind Body Connection. Tell a friend or share the link so they can watch also. And we are trying to help someone who needs help. The Caribbean Voice offer counseling for free, so send a message. If you cannot help someone, reach out to us, the Caribbean Voice. 5 minutes of your time could save a life, and suicide prevention is
Everybody's business.
that's right.
So let's talk a little bit about Guyana and how you can be empathy. You know, from one of our sites, I think Alan probably wrote this article, but because we are close to our time, I just want to share this. You know, a lot of young people in Guyana, the age of I think 15 to 25 age group, have highest suicide rate. And in Guyana, a young girl probably would tell her mother that, you know what, I want to kill myself. I want to drink some poison. And the mother would say to the child that, you know what, don't worry, let me bring him and I'll give it to you to drink. So, in this is a good moment. Back then and now it's very different. I think when this happens, one of the best things that a mother could do, or a parents could do, or any family member could do, is to, you don't encourage your child to kill
Ask
yourself.
why you feel that way.
Right. You encourage them to talk to you, and you embrace them. And one of
I
the
think
things,
she's looking for attention. She needs you to sit down and talk to her.
yes, and when you feel hopeless, it's no good. So a good thing that a parents could do is to go and hug their child and let them know how important they are to you. You know what? I love you. You are my child.
What's going on? I'm here for
exactly.
you.
So,
Show them
yes.
that they could trust you. They have your support instead of, coming with an anger attempt,
Don't
talk
ma-
negatively or say,
And
I
don't
told
matter-
you so, or
And no matter what happens, you will be there for them. Sometimes a child may go and she get pregnant and she come home. You know what? It's better to have a live child than to have a dead child. Encourage them. Let them know that, you know what, we all will be here to support you and your child if that's the case, or whatever it is. But whatever it is, always be helpful to your child. Don't encourage them to go kill themselves. And I know as parents sometimes that we get very upset when our children don't do things our way. But Shanaz, if we look at things, and back when you grew up back in Guyana and here, this time it's very different. Back in the days, I didn't hear my dad tells me that, you know what, oh, I love you, or whatever it is.
they weren't very affectionate, and they couldn't express themselves.
Selves.
Because, you'll find your mom telling you that most of the time, or hugging you, but not a dad. But I think even to women and moms, they weren't that affectionate.
Right. And I want to say,
And that comforts you, having a parent who comes home and hug you at the end of the day, or say, how was your day? Tell me what happened, they show that they cares.
absolutely. So, and you might have two little boys. I still try to hug them. I hug them still.
I believe in having dinner, because dinner time is a really good time to communicate and talk. And you know what? Do not neglect your child or your children for anyone else. I've seen a lot of parents out there, your kids are home. They need you. If you're not involved in their life, you wouldn't know what's going on in their life.
Absolutely. So, and so to wrap up tonight's program, I want to say this is very important. What you guys need to do in terms of communication is to always somebody come talk to you. You listen to them. You don't judge them. You give them 100% of the time where you will talk to them. You don't be on your cell phone, or you go comb your hair, or whatever it is, and you make that person feel welcome, and you make them you let them able to feel that they can talk to you in a non-judgmental way. So with all of that being said, it's
And also reach back out to them to follow up how they're doing. They will
Right.
feel like, 2 days later he called me, he remembered I wanted to speak to him. And that
yes,
means a lot.
and I see what's her name wrote that just now. Let's see if I can pull her
Priya
conversation.
Prasad.
Priya Prasad. She said, a very important point I would like to make. We should not only have that moment of communication, but to keep in touch with that person. It's let them know that you care. And that's so important that we feel. And I see Priya is a young girl. And so I applaud Priya for, doing all of this and saying things. And so I didn't realize that she was in Guyana, and I hooked up with her last week, Sunday. And so we had a conversation on Facebook Live, and that's very nice. I see Maureen is on.
Maureen Ramcharan, good evening to you. Riv Prasad, good evening, good evening. It was nice seeing you. Gita Balde Olinai, good evening. John Nimet, how you doing? And Danny Ram and Christina, thank you very much. I'm sure you'll be sharing that link. Maureen Ramcharan, thank you. And
I see Riv Prasad is on. I don't know if he's the guy that was performing
that
in
is, yes,
Florida.
Concert for Hope, as we talked about you earlier. He's a rock star. Did you see his John Travolta move?
Yes, I saw that. Mr. Prasad, I want to say on behalf of the Caribbean Voice, as you're listening to us, we want to say thank you very much for all that you do for the Caribbean Voice. And I'm certainly sure that you will be able to save somebody's life. And the money that we get from that show, I'm certainly sure that it will always go for something that will be constructive to help someone. Thank you very much. Maria Harris, thank you very much for joining us. Lena is on. I say thank you very much for tuning in to us.
Auntie Una says she loved that song by Mr. Bollywood, the duet with Angela Moti and Mr. Bollywood. Mr. Bollywood rocked that stage in Kissimmee, Florida, and he's excited about the Caribbean Cabana July 20th. Come on down, you'll have a really good time with us. Our cast from the Caribbean Voice will be there.
I see Priya said, Priya was making some other comment there. I couldn't get it. Let me see, Priya, what she was saying.
Hey, Mr. Lalman Prasad, I believe you know this guy from the same village.
Yes, you remember. He from Lenora and I'm from Lenora too. I know I know all his family in from Lenora. I used to go play around them. I see the beautiful Miss Sony Deo Saran locked onto us.
You on the 13th with Mr. Raymond heading to Connecticut. John Nimmer, thank you very much. Maria Harris, Jack Mahadeo, good evening to you. Thank you very much. You were there for the Caribbean Voice program, Concert for Hope. Liz Paduman will be seeing us in Guyana August 3rd. Concert for Hope is happening at the beautiful Classic Hotel. And John Nimmet said, yes, he saw the John Travolta moves, and Ken and Olivia Newton. Good evening, good
John
evening.
moved from Lenai.
Good evening. Yes, everyone had a fantastic time, I must say. Liz Paduman said, empathy is an important thing we all need to have. We don't have it, we need to gain that.
And doing this show, while I was doing all of this, Shanaz, I was thinking, because, while I'm doing my researches, we are doing our researches, I want a lot of things I'm learning too. And we are growing doing this show too, because remember, we are not perfect. We are not no doctor.
But it's good to have a good ear and a heart and a non-judgmental, we should not judge anyone. Hasina Bano, good evening to you. If you see someone having a good time, you don't know what their life, what's pushing them to do that.
Yeah.
You might see someone at a bar. Don't judge them, okay, he's a drunkard or he's an alcoholic. It might be his first time in a bar.
And you know what, Shanaz, you know what, I'm so glad I learned so many things in my younger days that, sometimes you go somewhere and you see people having a good time. I really truly believe that if you see someone is having a good time, leave them alone. Let them have a good time, because guess what? Sometime in life, I see a lot of patients can't walk. They can't talk. They just lie one place.
That's what they said. I wish I went there. I wish I did this. I wish I've been there. Do it. Get up and do it.
Absolutely. So when you see something good is happening for someone, embrace them, help push them down. Don't be the one that's pulling them down. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, after one time is another. As we are born in this world, we small, we grew up, and then we die and we gone. There is no tomorrow. We are not coming back here as the same person. You know what I'm saying?
You can't unset, some things that you said to someone before and hurt their feelings. John Namat, Liz Paduman, Linai, Hasina Bano, Auntie Hasina Bano, good evening to you. Maria Harris, good evening. Mala Somaru, how you doing? And we really care for each and every one of you. We are the Caribbean Voice.
And, I want to say thank you to Mr. Lalman Prasad, too, because he is doing a lot of things, too, for our community in Lenora. And so I want to say thank you very much. I hope that sometime that you and myself, Shanaz, we can do something,
That's
to
right.
help.
Hopefully I'll be seeing him in Guyana. I missed him in Florida. Good evening to you, Mr. Lalman. And yes, guys, the Concert for Hope in NYC is July 20th at the beautiful Caribbean Cabana restaurant. It's an outdoor event in the beautiful sunlight, and we'll be partying towards the moonlight. So I look forward to seeing each and every one of you. If you cannot make it, do tell someone that's living in NYC so they can come and purchase a t-shirt or at least a ticket. And yes, I must say thank you to all the folks who purchased our tickets. Linai bought 2 tickets. Linai, thank you for your gift also. And Mr. Dave, thank you very much. Hibiscus Dave. Thank you guys for tuning into Island Zone Radio. So much support, so much love we felt in Kissimmee, Florida. And we look forward in our next event. I believe we're heading there. It's an annual program, Concert for Hope, happening there. So mark your calendars. Follow us on Facebook and our social media page. Also, www.caribvoice.org, our website. You'll see what's going on around the world with the Caribbean Voice. We're heading to Trinidad and Tobago for a concert. Also, Jamaica is in the works. So lots of things happening. You do not want to miss it. Keep and look out on the Caribbean Voice social media page.
And we want to ask you guys to please share our page. You know, when Shanaz and I share, after so many times we get blocked from Facebook. So we don't want that to happen. So we're asking you that you please share this video and also tag a couple friends. Like I tagged 300 people after this show, you know, within today or tomorrow. So we do ask that you guys please do the same.
That's right. Sharing is caring and it's getting your word out there. Not because you're just locked on, you know, you could also share it. If you do love the Caribbean Voice so much, show them that you're supporting us. Wear that t-shirt, take a picture, and hashtag the Caribbean Voice. That's how you'll show everyone that you support the Caribbean Voice.
Also, if you can come to the show, you can still buy your ticket
That's
to
right.
support
We'll put up
us.
an online link so you can purchase a ticket whether you're coming or not. You could purchase a ticket, and remember, it's only $20. Those funds will go towards a really good cause. And I hate I hate folks who are partying every weekend and you have a program for a really good cause and they're asking you for, you know, a
free
donation.
ticket,
They're
yeah.
asking you for a ticket. We're not giving away tickets because the artists are working very hard and it's not easy to put together a show and give away the tickets. You know, we value their time, we value their talent, and we value the work the Caribbean Voice is doing. So we are looking forward for the funds in helping others back home.
Well, that's it for tonight. We want to say thank you very much, guys, for watching our program. I see Sobrian Sachin Mutu. He is from Lenora too. I grew up with this guy. Actually, we're the same age group. We had a lot of time in Guyana. We used to attend the same church. If you don't know me, remember me, I'm Basra's son, Sachin. Good to connect, and thanks for watching our program. I see Liz says, life is short. You see someone having a good time, be happy for them. They might be having a hard life. At the same time, I believe everyone deserves to have a good time sometime. Absolutely.
Right.
And I'm so glad you said that, Liz. So glad you said that statement.
And let's read Priya Prasad.
I will be watching the replay. Need to have a full essence of the discussion. Applause to you, beautiful, for being producing a very informative program every Monday night. Have a good night, and thank you to Priya. You're a young girl. Your head is on the right place. I know you will make a lot of difference in this world.
Good night, John Namad, Gita Balde, Olive Paduman, Priya Prasad, the Caribbean Voice Media. We have so many folks from the Caribbean Voice. Mala Samaro, good evening to you. Hey, I know Omar Chatraban was locked on earlier. Mr. Joe Thomas requesting Kali Salam maybe on Thursday. Jerry Budram, Asima Majid, good evening, good evening. Good evening to everyone. The beautiful Girly Prasad, thank you. KL Deodat, Shelly Singh, Sony Deosaran, Girly Prasad, thank you. And yes, we'll leave our program saying, come on down July 20th to the beautiful Caribbean Cabana restaurant. Hey DJ Skype, good evening to you. How you doing? Thank you for tuning into Island Zone Radio. It is time for us to say farewell for now. We'll see you next Monday right here on Island Zone Radio. And you never know what you're going to be expecting on Thursday, to keep it locked. Mr. Lalman Prasad, good night. Thank you, Hasina Bano. Until next Monday for the Caribbean Voice presentation of the Mind-Body Connection. My name is Shanaz.
And Hiram Ramprasad, known as Ken.
Saying good night.
Good night.
Goodbye for now. Take care. All the best.
Have a good week.
Make some noise for the Desi Boys! D-Boys! D-Boys!
ਕੁੜੀਆਂ ਦੇ ਦਿਲ ਉੱਤੇ ਰੂਲ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ ਇਹੀ ਬਾਜ਼ਾਰਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਫੈਲੀ ਹੈ ਹਵਾ ਤੋੜਾਂਗੇ ਰੂਮੀਆਂ ਤੇ ਲੱਭ ਦਾ ਰਿਕਾਰਡ ਵੀ ਲਿਖਾਂਗੇ ਇਸ਼ਕ ਦਾ ਪਾਠ ਨਵਾਂ ਹਮ ਯਾਰੋਂ ਵਿਗੜੇ हैं ਦਿਲ ਆਪਣਾ ਹੈ ਸ਼ਰੀਫ ਬਣਾ
Make some noise for the Desi Boys! 1, 2, 3!